All right, guys, here we are again with another document update. I know we just released one, but like I said, the editing team is hard at work and they just gave us all new information that's more accurate. Let's get into it. All right, so like we did last time, we're kind of going to skim over a few things. This document's actually going to be a lot easier to read, I feel like, than for most people. We might color code it, make it a little bit prettier. But however, this is just so much more detail. Now you can see that the old document is still at the bottom. You can still see it down here. So we click down here. Here's the old document. This is extremely accurate. This document, the old one, is more accurate when you're talking about, let's say, five hits. But however, we have this document, which is going to be single hits, and this, unlike the other one's like plus or minus 5 points. This is plus or minus 1 point with one hit. I mean, it is extremely, extremely accurate, and we gave you more information this time. So you still have your characters, you still have your character classes. Now, depending on the class, depends on the effects that it does for each character. However, we chose to take out the character class file, so sadly we no longer have that available for you guys. We still have it for us for background purposes, but we took it out. It was confusing too many people, and we decided to withhold the information for people that are partners with us for web developing. So that being said, so you have DP costs, your switch timer costs. These are, in the old time. So the switch timer is directly correlated with your DP cost. So for example, all characters at 4 DP will have a switch out timer at 19 seconds. Your health bars, this is red bar included. So the normal health bar is 4 bars, and all these should be correct, even down to the half percentages. Then we have melee defense. Okay, so everything in blue is defense, which is really nice, easy to read. And melee defense is going to be essentially everything that's not a key blast or a beam, right? Like, so if it's a punch, if it's a smash attack, if it's a charged attack, if it's a throw, it's going to be under melee. Now, as for energy, it's going to be your key blast, your charge key blast, your beams, your ultimates, all of that. That's what the energy is going to go for. It's going to tell you if they have resistance or strength versus each individual attribute. Now we have armor. So you have your super armor characters. For example, Grade 8 Vegeta has 10% armor, so it actually reduces the damage by 10% when someone hits them, on top of having super armor. Now this one right here is probably the most interesting one. So Majin Vegeta, I'd like to talk about this one. We left a note on it. This only applies in sparking mode. The special super armor cannot be broken with rush attacks at all, meaning nobody, no matter how many times they hit them, they're always going to have the armor on them. Yeah, so ridiculously good, but that's only in sparking for Majin Vegeta. But it is an interesting one to know. Your rush attack damage. This is going to be if you punch a character that has 0 defense one time, it's going to do this much. So this is all comparable with each other. So you can see if the character is stronger or weaker depending on their number. The same thing with smash attacks. So it does, this much damage depending on what smashes you do. Now the smash attacks, this is the base stat for the smash attacks, which essentially already applied with the character's multiplier, by the way. But we have all the formulas and stuff in the background. We don't want to confuse everybody. But this is the finished product for each character. This is basically how much their smash attacks do. And just so you know, a charged punch and a rush chain will do the same amount of damage, but the rush chains, depending on which one it is, has a different multiplier For example, a rolling hammer, I think, is a 50% multiplier, so it's 50%. I'm sorry, 50% reduction, so it does half the damage. And a heavy finish, the gut strike, it's 1-to-1, so it will do this exact damage as long as the combo multiplier hasn't been added in. The combo multiplier adds in, I think, after anything after the third hit. So the first 3 hits are safe. Anything after that, it's going to have combo depreciating values, which we are working on, and we're close to debunking. And once we do that, once we get that value debunked, then we can essentially make a combo builder where you can put together any combo and you'll have the exact amount of damage you'll do versus any character, which would be really cool. And maybe we'll have that into the website, the future website. So these are your throws. This is how much damage each throw does. So that's cool stuff. I'm pretty sure throws don't do any damage whenever you're picking them off the ground, but this is all your throw damage. Pursuits, the interesting thing about pursuits, so this is like if I hit someone, I dash after them, and as I'm dragging homing into them, I'm holding the punch button, bam, hit them again. This is how much damage you'll do. Now, it seems that if you teleport behind them, I think you do the same amount of damage as well. So it seems like all pursuits do this amount of damage, which a lot of them are very similar to each other. So then you have the giant stagger. So this is how many hits you need to stagger a giant. So this character only staggers them on the last hit, the 5th hit. This one does the 4th, the one before the last hit, so on and so forth. Now, as we go over, there's so much information, guys. This is the buff to your supers. So if a character has a 20% buff, then the base stat of the super would be increased by 20%. We're actually working right now on extracting all the game data for all the blasts in the game, which I guess we should maybe make a note of this and blast instead of super. But essentially, supers are blasts, and blasts, this is your bonus for each one, and your ultimate, same thing, bonus for each one. Seems they're very similar. I want to see if I can find one that's not. No, I think. Oh, here we go. Here's one. Tien. So so most of them are the same. Short dash costs. Let me tell you guys a little joke. So if you go look at the character graph, so stupid. Me and the editing team were just laughing about this. The most useless information in the game is the combo stat in the character selection screen. So for example, whenever you select a character, it'll have this little graph that pops up and it'll say like health and key and damage and combo, right? Well, your combo stat is your short dash cost. That's what it is. It has nothing to do with melee. It has nothing to do with anything. It is a direct 1-to-1 ratio with your short dash cost. So the cheaper your short dash is, the higher your combo stat is. Literally the most useless thing in the entire game. But I digress on that one. So your Ki Blast, this is how much damage one Ki Blast will do versus a character with 0% health or 0% defense buff. Ki Blast costs, we broke that down, charged and not charged. Then we have Ki Blast limit. Okay, so Ki Blast limit is really interesting because look at these. Like this character right here, Vegeta Scout. That means that he can shoot as long as he has Ki. He could just shoot infinite amount of Ki Blast. So you can just keep going and going and going forever and ever. As long as you have Ki. So, and certain characters can shoot more than others. And yeah, you get to kind of see that. So, let's see. Now, starting Ki. This is how many bars of Ki you'll start with. Ki charge. So, this is so this is when you're charging your Ki. So you're holding down R2 or right trigger, depending on which one you're on. This is how fast a character can charge its Ki bars. So yeah, you can do 1.4 bars per second, 1.7 bars per second. Higher is better on that. your sparking charge. This is interesting, right? So this builds off of the last one, and the sparking charge rate is how fast. No, I'm sorry, it doesn't build off the last one. So it's essentially the same thing as key charge, but it's your key charge while you're in sparking. Now we got this value straight from the game code itself. However, I don't know what it is in time. I haven't took a stopwatch to it or anything. And but this will tell you if they're faster or slower at charging when you're in sparking mode. So just an interesting number for you guys. Then we have sparking duration. Yet again, I haven't stopwatched the exact time for sparking duration, but you have a default, and then it'll tell you if your sparking duration is shorter or longer with specific characters. So specific characters will have longer, and specific characters will have shorter. I'm trying to think of a character with longer sparking duration. I don't even see one. Well, maybe it's just default or shorter. Yep, default or shorter. So that's how that one works. Attack key gain. So this is the key that you gain when you are attacking someone. So if you do, let's say, 5 X's or 5 squares, depending on what system you play on, and you're punching someone, you gain a certain amount of key back. Well, this tells you the exact amount per hit. Your key regen, right? So I really like this, right? So most characters have key regen between 0 and 2 bars. And then this breaks down how many bars per second you get. And you can do this is for every character. And so androids are going to be, see right here, 0 to 5 bars, right? So yeah, it's just really cool stuff, guys, where you get to essentially see how fast a character regenerates their ki. Skills at start, you can see this character, which is Goku Teen, starts with 2. Most characters start with 0. I think that is a pretty easy number to follow. And we're almost to the end here. So then we have our skill limit. So that if we have max amount of skill points, we have the limit here. And then if we have skill regen, which, for example, 4.2 I think is the standard. I told you guys in a previous video that we stopwatched it at 4.5 or 14.5 seconds per skill bar, and I think I said that in the DP tier list. You know, people are asking me. I was like, well, I mean, it's between 14 and 15. I'd say 14.5 would be the most accurate. But now we know exactly how much it was. We derived it from the source code of the game, and it's like 14.287 something. So it's basically 14.3. So that is 7% of a skill point per second, if that helps you guys. But yeah, and then if you divide 7 into 100%, then you'll figure out it's 14 point something. So that is your skill regen. Tells you how fast you regen skill points. It also tells you, like this character regens skill points slower, or you see this one, Master Roshi, regenerates faster. So this might actually kind of give you guys some, pointers on, how good they are. Like, I mean, that's kind of cool. Beerus is way slower. Yeah, so just some interesting stuff, guys. I thought you guys would really be interested in this stuff, and thank the editing team because they are absolutely amazing. And then we have skill damage. So skill damage is, for example, your skills that do damage, like Explosive Wave, for example. This is the percentage of damage increase over the base stat that the skill is. So it'll just tell you, okay, well, this character is better at hitting people or not hitting people with their skills. Certain characters don't have skills that do damage, so there is that. Other than that, guys, we are working on breaking down all the... I mean, we're trying to break down every single thing in the game and we're going to make it... We're trying to partner up with some website designers, and we're trying to make the absolute best website that you guys could possibly ask for for giving you guys this data, but more in an easy to read scenario. For example, like you just click on a picture of Goku Z early, and it'll have a breakdown and maybe a graph to show his actual stats, because the graph in game does not show you the stats at all. Like, do not go off that graph. It's terrible. Like we said, the combo stat, like in that graph, is literally just how much ki you save when you short dash. Like, I don't know what they were thinking with it. I think they rushed the graph because I have no idea what they were thinking on that one. Yeah, but anyways, we'll make you a more of an effective graph that you can actually see. And I'd really like to see if we can kind of design a page where you can compare two characters and maybe even see how much damage they would do to each other if they were fighting each other. So that way, instead of you guys having to use a calculator, you could just go on there, click two pictures, compare, and then it'll give you all the information. And if we could do the damage for melee, I think we could do the same thing for supers. And where we could, that way you can click, let's say Goku Blue versus Dabura, you know, and if Goku Blue does his ultimate to Dabura or his super, then it's going to calculate that for you, so you can do that. And it will do every single character in the entire game. That would be cool. Not saying we could do that, but I'm saying, like, I'm pretty sure we can. So that might be some really cool stuff in the future. I don't see why not, because we can easily make a formula to do it, and then if the website can draw from that formula, then we should be able to do every single configuration that is possible with every super, every skill. Right now, I just derived all the key blasts from the game code. I have 2,146 key blasts to go through and sort. So if you wonder, like, what we're doing every day is we're extracting data and analyzing the data, making sense for it, and putting it into a document like this for you guys. Because, like, I know this document might look complicated, but when you're looking at game codes that are thousands of pages long, it's way worse. it's way worse. But we're doing our best, and we're trying to get you guys out the information as quick as possible. I'm really sorry that this video came out it's going to come out 2 days later after I just made version 3, and I knew they were working on version 4 for a while, but that being said, I didn't know that they were this close to being done, because we just had a breakthrough this morning, and we put it together, and we finally figured out the formula for all the stats in the game, and what the formula is that the developers use in order to get the base stats into the actual readable data, which is what you see here. So we finally cracked the code for that. And yeah, we're probably not going to give out too much of the raw data and the formulas, just for the fact of people like to steal your information and take credit for it. So what we do is we give you guys, I think for you guys being players, like, this is pretty much everything you need here, because this is the actual data that you would see in the game. But for you to get the formula and to make your own chart like this, especially if they change the game, all this might change. And if you don't know the formula, you don't know the base stats, then it's going to be extremely hard for you to make your own copy. So essentially, we're forcing all the copycats to come to us. Anyways, I'm going to digress on that one. But I'm going to try to keep this one short, so that's probably it for today. If you guys are interested in getting better at Sparking Zero, I just launched my membership program. I mean, if you watch this long in the video, like, I really appreciate it. Like, I deeply appreciate it. But I started my membership program where you guys can contact me, talk to me directly. We have a paid membership channel on the Discord. It was just launched, like, just now. So, like, if you go now, you're going to be one of the first people in there. But essentially, we practice together, we train together. There's a whole intro video to it whenever you click join at the bottom of the YouTube video here. So there's going to be a whole video on it down there to explain it in further detail. Other than that, guys, like, I really appreciate you guys coming here. Thank you for all your support. If there's anything I can do for y'all, if there's something that you want me to elaborate on, just leave it in the comment or join the Discord. And yeah, and I'll do my best to answer everything that you guys have. And we'll see from there. Other than that, I will see you guys in the next one.